Hi everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of StudyIQIAS in English. Over here, you must have seen that India has utilized Indus Water Treaty to use the water as a water bomb, and ultimately we have denied the access to the Indus Water River's water to the Pakistan as well in the previous few months. But at the same time, can China also make, or China can make the water bomb from the Brahmaputra, and it can make the Assam flood even worse. That is what we'll be decoding in this complete session along with me. Now over here, when it comes to the complete issue or the perspective, it is to note over here that this is about the Brahmaputra River that we are talking about. Now the complete river, it actually takes, this is a transboundary river that we are talking about, and it takes its origin is basically near the Mansarovar Lake from the Chewa Yungdung Glacier, where it is called as in the Tibet Yarlung Tsangpo. Then it actually makes a great bend and taking a U-turn and making a gorge in the Arunachal Pradesh. It enters into the Arunachal Pradesh, where it is called as Siang or Dihang as well. Then it enters into the valley region, and the valley that I'm talking about is Assam, where it gets its name, which is a popular name Brahmaputra. And this is the only major river that has a masculine name in India as well. Then comes the other stoppage where it moves towards the Bangladesh, and then it gets its name, that is Jamuna. So one river, but we have the four names of the same river. Now over here, this is quite important because ultimately when it comes to Brahmaputra, it is unlike the other Indian rivers because it is where we have the one of the highest sediment loads of any river on the earth. And when it comes to the sediment, I'm talking about the sand, I'm talking about silt and the gravel and the rock as well, because they are washed away from the young and geological active Himalayas. It is also where we have abraded and the shifting channels where the riverbed constantly changes the course, unlike the most of the stable channels that we have for the peninsular rivers. Now when it comes to the braided channel, it is where we have the strands of the rivers that actually they move apart and they then connect together. So that is the braided channel, and this is why we have the Majuli Island that was created by river Brahmaputra inside, and this is when it comes to the Majuli Island, it is the largest riverine island of the world as well. Now the third reason is that there is the high sediment deposition steadily, which actually raises the river bed, and ultimately that is the reason that what happens is that the channel capacity, it goes down, or the channel capacity to hold the water, it actually decreases. That actually leads to the flooding of the river. Also, it has been fed by the intense and the concentrated monsoon rainfall. Now during the monsoon, what happens is that this monsoon rain, it actually moves towards the Brahmaputra River, and over here this monsoon rainfall is concentrated in Arunachal Pradesh, in Bhutan and in the eastern Himalayas. Please remember, it is not the rainfall that happens in Tibet that actually feeds the monsoon water into the Brahmaputra River. Now this is very important because we have to understand that why and where we have right now the flooding that is happening in the Assam region. So over here, we have more than 16 districts which had been affected in 2026, and they are mostly concentrated along the main Brahmaputra valley and the river, and also to the major tributaries of Brahmaputra. There is also Char Islands or the Char Lands which are there. Now what are the Char Lands? They are the river islands which are the home to the displaced families from the earlier erosion cycles. Now they are the most exposed, and they are basically these regions or these islands, they are reflooded almost every year. That makes the situation quite vulnerable. Now there are the low-lying floodplain districts as well, or the regions they sit just behind the aging embankments that were designed for the smaller and less erratic river. But right now we have the river which have become quite erratic. Also, there is urban flooding, which is now going a pattern 2 as well, where you can see when it comes to the Guwahati or when it comes to Silchar, which is there in the Barak Valley, they have seen the embankments broken or the breaching, which have triggered the city scale inundation as well. Now, when it comes to the complete history, you will see that there were the deadliest floods which we have seen since 1988 to 2026 as well. In 1988, the deadliest flood was there where we had more than 500 of the deaths, and this is the deadliest flood that we are talking about, the recorded history of Assam. And then in 1998 as well, then in 2004, in 2012 as well, in 2019 as well, in 2022, and today we are talking about the 2026, where it is one of the deadliest flooding, where there had been more than 50 deaths so far in 2026 itself. Now, we'll be talking about the Chinese angle as well, also about why there are the concerns which had been raised. But before that, let me tell you that we have the Resolution P2I batch in which you can enroll. Now, this batch is basically for your GS Foundation, where ultimately you get the complete, the complete course or the module that is based upon the SMART framework. And you can enroll into the batch by using the code BRS Live that will fetch you the maximum discount. Now, over here, when it comes to Chinese angle or the dam that I was talking about, it is where we have the Great Bend, where there had been the planned dam that had been proposed by China. Now, this is Yarlung Tsangpo mega dam that we are talking about. The location is Midog or Mutuo County, which is located in Tibet, and it is where we have the Yarlung Tsangpo's Great Bend, which is very close to the Arunachal Pradesh. Now, when it comes to the complete scale, it is worth remembering that this would be the 60 gigawatt capacity dam, and this is roughly, please remember, it is roughly triple the size of the Three Gorges Dam that is there. Now, Three Gorges Dam is currently the world's largest hydro power facility that is there, and the structure is that there will be 5 cascade dams that will be constructed. Now, when it comes to 5 cascade dams that will be constructed, they will exploit nearly about 2000 meter elevation drop within a very short stretch of the river. Now, you must be thinking that what is basically a cascade dam. Now, you must have seen stairs, all right? You must have seen stairs where we have 1, then 2, then 3. And that is what the cascade is. It is basically a waterfall that is in a sequence vertically, and over here you will find it will be in a stair-like platform or the stair-like fashion. That is what cascade is. So cascade is basically a waterfall that is in a stair-like fashion in the vertical format. Now, when it comes to the cost and the status, so the total cost estimated had been $167 billion, and it had been approved by China in December 2024, and that had been after the years of the complete evaluation for the dam. Now, there are the core concerns which had been raised by India, and that is that there could be the sudden water releases during the extreme weather, and that could arrive on the top of an already flooded Assam. Now, that will complicate the forecasting and the response as well. There would be disruption to the sediment flow as well. Now, you must be thinking that, why I'm talking about the sediment disruption? Because if the dams will be constructed, and this dam will be constructed, so what will happen is that the sediment flow, it will be interrupted. And when it comes to the sediment flow, this is quite important because actually it replenishes the fertility of the floodplains of Assam. Now, you must have read about Khadar and Bhangar. So, we have the Khadar plains which are there in Assam, which gets the topsoil renewed every year because of the sediments, and thereby, if the dam will be constructed, that will actually have the impact on the sediment flow also. There will be the lack of transparency and the inconsistency of the hydrological data sharing as well. That had been, a concern of India, which had been relayed to China, because ultimately then we'll be dependent upon the China's voluntary disclosures. There is also the long-term ecological changes that will happen into the seismically active region and biodiversity rich transboundary basin also. Now, over here, when it comes to China, so China have maintained an official position where actually it describes the project as the Run of the River project. And it says that this has been designed not to significantly alter the river's natural downstream flow. Also, the China states that it has shared and it will also continue to share the hydrological and the flood season data with India, and also claims that there had been complete scientific planning and demonstration process that accounts for the interest of the downstream countries as well. Now, also China have pointed out to the same factor or the fact that I have told you, that when it comes to the Tibetan stretch that contributes a relatively small share of the Brahmaputra's total flow and the flood causing rainfall as well. Now, when it comes to a flood causing rainfall, so please remember that 65 to 70% of the rainfall that happens only in the eastern Himalayas, in the Arunachal Pradesh, and even in the Bhutan as well. Now, this is quite important because ultimately the water, it could be used as a strategic leverage as well. Because when it comes to this dam, it actually sits within the broader India-China trust deficit, since that we had the Doklam clashes in 2017 and even the Galwan clashes in 2020 as well. Now, water is basically right now in the international arena, it is being discussed as the potential pressure point in the relationship parallel to the unresolved border tension. And we have seen this in the case of Indus Water Treaty as well. Now, when it comes to the location of this dam, this is also quite important strategically because it is very close to the contested Arunachal Pradesh border, layering a strategic dimension onto the hydrological one. And even without the deliberate manipulation, India's dependence on the upstream power for the data and for the warning, it creates a kind of structural imbalance or the vulnerability for India as well. And that is why this is quite important. Now, over here, you can see that when it comes to India, so India has also moved ahead with its own alternative. And the alternative over here is that I'm talking about is the counter move, and that is the Siang Upper Multi-Purpose Project. Now, this will be located in Arunachal Pradesh, and ultimately it will be the own proposed large dam that is there, or that will be there on the Siang, that is Brahmaputra, as it is known as in the Arunachal Pradesh in the upstream of Assam. Now, the strategic logic is that we will establish the prior water usage and the infrastructure presence as well. That will be a hedge against the upstream Chinese control. And also, it has been framed as a buffer. That is a structure capable of absorbing any kind of sudden surge before it reaches the Assam floodplains. And it faces, over here, it faces its own local opposition, where we have the Adi tribal community that lives in the Siang region. They are opposing it over the displacement and the ecological impact as well. Now, over here, like I said, that this is quite important because this also pertains to the various questions which had been asked in the prelims examination. Now, please remember that you have to remember the tributaries of the Brahmaputra, and not just tributaries of the Brahmaputra. You have to arrange them from left to right, or from east to west, or west to east as well. And also you have to remember that which of the tributaries, they are the left hand side or the right hand side tributaries. Now, let me tell you, whenever there is a river that is flowing, always remember that if it is flowing in this direction, all right, always be in the direction. You must face towards the direction in which it's flowing, and then you have to see where your left hand and your right hand that lies. Now, if I am facing like this, my right hand is towards the top. So these are the right hand side tributaries that are there of Brahmaputra. So that is, we have Tista, Sankosh, Manas and Subanshri. They are the right hand side tributaries. And then we have the left hand side tributaries, which is majorly we have Dhanshri, we have Dikhao, we have Lohit and Dibang as well. These are the left hand side tributaries of Brahmaputra. Not only this, for your prelims, you must remember that when it comes to the various projects, again over here what UPSC does is it asks you from arranging or to arrange them from east to west or west to east. So over here you can see that already on the Yarlung Tsangpo or Brahmaputra, there are the dams which had been constructed by China. Now over here we have the Dagu Dam, that is the first dam, followed by there is Jekshu. Then there is a Zangmu Dam also, and then Jiasha Dam, which had been constructed by China, and there will be the another dam that will be constructed near the Great Bend that we are talking about. So ultimately over here, please remember that when it comes to the flooding, it is always because of the 3 C's that are there. The 3 C's that you can utilize for your answer writing. The first one is C, that is the climate, where we have the extreme and the concentrated rainfall over the eastern Himalayas that have led to the flooding in the Assam Valley. Then there is the course, where it is basically the sediment load and the channel shifting behavior of the Brahmaputra that is actually the reason behind the flooding. And then there is a C, that is construction, where we have the embankments, we have the encroachment and the deforestation that have weakened the natural barriers. So these 3 are the 3 C's. They are basically the reason behind the flooding that we have seen in the past and even today in 2026 in the Assam Valley region that is happening right now. So like I said, that we have the resolution P2I batch in which you can enroll by using the code BRS Live. That will get you the maximum discount, and the new batches, they are basically starting from 27th of July. So hurry and enroll as soon as possible. And we have the public administration batch as well, where I'm taking the classes for your optional. Now this is a bilingual batch, please remember, and you can use the code BRS Live to enroll into the batch of the public administration optional as well. So that would be all in this session. Thank you very much guys for joining me over here on the platform of StudyIQIAS. I will see you in the next. So till then, please take care of yourself, and also do not forget to like the session, to share the session with your friends, and to subscribe so that you do not miss any of the updates. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care and Jai Hind.